Hi, everyone. Welcome to SBR Sports Picks. His name is Jimmy the Bag. My name is Peter Loshak. This is the Loshak the Bag Show, 6 o'clock edition, Thursday, January 4th. Day of 48 college basketball games. I, once again, was only able to get up to 9 o'clock. There's a lot of intriguing home dogs. I don't know how much you looked at today's card, Jim.
Oh, as much as I fucking could.
A lot of intriguing home dogs, Jimmy the Bag. Understandable why some of those home dogs would be big home dogs, but I think I'm going to give a few of them, as picks. We'll see what you had to say, Jim. Jim, we know you do phenomenal research, and I probably would do well just to tail everything that you give. How many games did you get to today, approximately? Would you say?
Well, I started doing what you were doing. I tried to focus as much as possible. First of all, I did all the ranked teams, and then I tried to focus on all the early games. So as soon as this show's over, I'm going to at least pound another hour of the late games.
Right.
But the only plays that I've already sent out, I stopped. I got stopped by Max on one of them, which we can get into during the game. Yeah.
No,
but
that's good.
I am on Utah as a home dog. On the money line against Arizona this evening.
Oh, see, that's a later game that I didn't get to. Yeah, I mean, everyone should in sports betting and in life in general, but especially in sports betting, look to whatever processes other people use that might be good for you. But in the end, do whatever you want. If you want to stick to ranked teams, if you want to stick to a small conference or two, if you want to, some people scan. I at times I've scanned the card and sort of like picked out games that I thought were interesting. You know what I mean? Whatever you think is going to work best for you. And I got up to the 9 o'clock games, and once again, I do have some plays, and I think I'm going to give most of the leans that I bet. Right, Jimmy the Bag? All right, shall we start? Let's get into it. Not bullshitting around. We'll bullshit tomorrow when there's fewer college. Are there fewer college games tomorrow?
Oh, I'm afraid to look.
No, there can't be because there's 40. Friday is usually very slow. So tune into tomorrow's show at 6 o'clock Eastern time for a lot of bullshit and fun and games. Right now we got 48 freaking college basketball games to get into. Let's go one for one here. Tit for tat. I didn't tweet out any of the picks that I wanted to bet, which I think is probably a good thing at this point in the season because I still want to think things out and talk them through whether I want to give them publicly. I have mentioned that Wisconsin-Milwaukee is a team that I don't quite like that much in general this year as far as, overall betting value. They're a big road favorite against Youngstown State. Now, Youngstown State is not a good team, which is why they're a big home underdog here. But I did bet that one. It's up to 7.5 now, but, intertops still has 7, and I think I'm going to give Youngstown State full game plus 7.5. Now, the tricky thing about these home underdogs, like the BC game yesterday was a classic example. They got massively blown out in the first half, and then came back to actually cover the full game. Now, was there some way I should have known to take them on the full game, but not the first half? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know.
It's interesting. Because I feel like the home team should have an advantage off the top, but it's in play action is really what makes sense there. You can follow, you can see how the pace of the game is moving, and then make a move in the second half. It was a tough. The Boston College was a strange game yesterday.
So I'm going to take Youngstown State. I'll give them at 7.5 right now. Minus 105 is the best line right now at Bookmaker. It'll be kind of annoying if they're like up at the halftime and then like lose the game, which could easily happen. But then again, if I give the first half play, then I'm doubling up. What if they get absolutely blown out? So maybe I will double up later on. But as of right now, I will give as my first play Youngstown State home dog to Wisconsin-Milwaukee. Not quite convinced that Wisconsin-Milwaukee is good enough to be laying that many points to Youngstown State, and I'll take it. Youngstown State plus 7.5, first play of the day. Jimmy the Bag, what are you liking here?
Well, before I move on, there's some interesting stuff on your play already. Brandon Cummings just dropping stats. Now, I looked at this play too, and I was very interested in it.
You did?
Yes, I was very interested in Youngstown State, and now I'm starting to we're following these teams pretty closely. Yeah. So, and Youngstown State has got a game against Green Bay coming up. There are a lot of interplay because I'm on Green Bay today. But before I do that, Brandon says Wisconsin-Milwaukee's 5-0 against the spread, last 5 against Youngstown State. But I see, Maxwell Smart right there. Youngstown State is a live dog.
And that line makes sense, and that stat makes sense from Brandon Cummings because Wisconsin-Milwaukee in recent years has been pretty decent, and Youngstown State in recent years has been way more ass than I think they are this year. And again, would I take them at 4.5? Probably not, but at 7.5, it's enough for me to take. There's a bunch of big home dogs, ugly home dogs that are like this on today's card. I am not hoping to sweep. I'm hoping to win. Well, you know what I'm hoping for, to come out positive 1/10 of a unit. But I would be very happy with more than that.
The Black's the Black. So I'm on Green Bay. Mr. Gogster has said, yeah, Jim, Green Bay money line right here. I know that Max is on Green Bay as well. Green Bay missed 16 of 17 three-point attempts in that loss that Pete talked about, the strange line movement against IUPUI. They missed 16 of 17 threes. I expect them to bounce back today. They've had a more difficult time than I expected bringing Sandy Cohen back into the rotation, and I can't really explain why. Green Bay is 52nd in the nation in rebounding, and Cleveland State is tiny and 346th in the nation on the boards. That difference alone makes me want to jump at Green Bay. The fact that I'm getting a couple points I'm not even going to use, I'm just going to take the money line and enjoy it.
Well, I was that was one of my picks. It was a top play. I bet it. I felt so nervous about it. I wasn't even going to mention it or give it here. But I might go on this one with you, Jim. I totally agree with you. So you want the money line, right?
I do.
Okay, hold on one second. Let me just get to the money line. We got so many freaking games to go through. All right, let me see. Money line. Let me just find it.
Brandon Cummings says about your Youngstown play that they're definitely improved.
Yeah.
I like Youngstown State backcourt. They might keep up.
Yeah, exactly. Definitely improves means they're still ass, which is why they're.
And Native Queen is coming in and says, yes, love Green Bay.
Wow. Okay. All right. I'm on it. Look, it was, and this is not a pick where I'm just like blindly telling you. I bet it. I just I was like, this guy. You're right. Absolutely right. Okay, so you're going to take Wisconsin Green Bay money line plus 115, Jim.
Yep.
All right, and I'm gonna take them. Where is it? I'll take it. Yeah. Wow, it's down from 3 down to 2. I will take them plus 2. I will take them plus 2. Wisconsin Green Bay plus 2. Minus 1. 10. Minus 110 is the best line. I'm thinking about doubling up on that. Before I decide about doubling up on that one, let's get to another play that I think I'm definitely going to give. It's down at the. It's a Pac-12 game. It was one of the last games that I looked at. Arizona State against Colorado. Right now, Arizona State obviously a great team. Obviously coming off a loss. Obviously, looking to bounce back here, but obviously also playing at Utah next. Right. Obviously a little bit concerned about the altitude. Right. Obviously slowing things down a little bit for this road trip, right? So I'm thinking, first of all, I like the under on this one, and I'm thinking that Colorado, once again, getting 9.5 here, maybe some value. What do you think, Jim?
I agree. And what held me back is that I'm already fading Arizona, and I just didn't have the balls. But just to hear where you're coming from, let's break this game a little further down. First off, Sun Devils are coming off their first loss of the season to Arizona on Saturday night. Holder still looks incredible, 31 points. But the rest of the starters went a combined 10 for 36. Hurley had them practicing in oxygen-inhibiting masks to prepare for the elevation in Colorado. I almost think that's overthinking it. That's getting too much in these kids' heads. And that's why you're talking about they're going to be slowing the pace down because Hurley's got them wearing these fucking masks.
Well, it's like the Seinfeld episode. You remember when the woman was like, his handler was like, I just don't want you to freak out. And by the end of the show, he's completely lost his mind. You remember that one?
Of course, I do. And that's a great analogy. Sun Devils are 5th in the nation. They've been in scoring, but now they've got all these things in their head. And Colorado's freshman guard, McKinley Wright, is very good. 16 points, 5 boards, 4.9 assists. The Buffaloes have not looked quite so good after their 6 straight wins, but I think this is a very interesting spot.
All right, well, I'm taking them plus 9.5. I'm also going to take the under here, 160 minus 108. That's the line on Pinnacle. Again, all these plays are, I'm feeling a little bit nervous about my plays in early December, and that is not because I'm doubting myself. That is just historically my numbers don't do as well at this time of year. But I'm going to take it, Colorado plus 9.5, and the under 160. Jimmy the Bag. Now let's go to you. You can add that one on later if you want, or you want to add it on now. What do you want to do?
I'm going to continue thinking about it right now.
Okay. Now let's go back to you. What do you want to hit us with, Jim?
Well, let's talk about the other Arizona game. I am going to take Utah on the money line. Arizona has looked very good since the debacle in the battle for Atlantis. They lead the Pac-12 in both field goal percentage and three-point percentage. Now, when I took the Texas Tech over Kansas game, what I was doing was I was taking a team that defends the perimeter excellently and expecting them to really mess with their three-point shooting. I'm going to do the same thing here. The Utes are the perfect team to defend the Wildcats. They rank 2nd in Pac-12 field goal defense, 1st in three-point field goal defense. Arizona's got the 7'1", 250-pound freshman DeAndre Ayton, probably going to be a lottery pick, but the Utes have 2 seniors, 6'10", 220-pound senior David Collette and 6'10", 225-pound senior Tyler Rawson. They are not just bench players. These are go-to starters. They're going to bang with DeAndre. They're older than him. Obviously they don't have the skill. We're probably not going to see these guys in the show, but I like having two seniors that can get in the head of a freshman. I like having a team that defends the perimeter against a great shooting team that had, Arizona has looked so good at home, but anytime they faced adversity on a foreign court, they've struggled. We've watched them do this all year. I'm taking Utah on the money line.
All right, lots of back and forths and disagreements on all of our picks. I can't even keep track of which picks they're referring to. Best line right now would be plus 155 at multiple places. I'm just going to scan some of these comments here. JP Fahey says, I'm heavy on Arizona tonight. Robin Spears says, Utah has no answer for Aiden. Luke Charleston says, Arizona is hungry. I don't see Utah stopping them, Jimmy. Luke Charleston also said that he said, shitty pick, Loshak, but he didn't refer to specify which one. I'm assuming he's talking about Youngstown State. I'm not exactly sure. Maybe he's talking about Colorado. I can certainly see why. Luke Charleston just said shitty pick right there. That was when we were talking about Arizona State. So I assume he's talking about Colorado. Let me see. Then again, Aspiratolate says good value on Buffalo's Native Queen. Says liking Colorado, and I like Native Queen when she agrees with me, right? It's a good sign to me when she agrees with me.
It's always a good sign, for sure.
Look, all these games, if they were that easy and there was no disagreement, then the bookies would get crushed. Bookie Crusher says Arizona State 4-0 ATS on the road. Yes, they're a good team. They're a great team. I'm just not exactly sure that I'm liking this spot for them at this point in this season. Brandon Cummings says, I don't think the Buffaloes can keep up with Arizona State's scoring. Arizona's field percentage is beautiful. Yeah, I'm just expecting a little bit of a different situation here for Arizona State. And again, if it loses, that's okay. All right, let's move on. Who gave the last pick?
I did. What was the? Sorry, I missed the money line that I got.
155 plus 155. All right, scanning over some of the other. I guess we can go to the Utah, the Houston Wichita State game, but you're going to get to that one, so I'll let you. Right, you're going to get to that.
I've got that game, but I'd be happy to do it.
No, because I'll comment on it. Let me see. What are some? All right. Well, I was thinking that Florida International getting 12.5 points against Middle Tennessee State, another ugly underdog that I bet, and I think I'm going to give here. Obviously, Middle Tennessee State much better than Florida International. That's why Florida International is a double-digit home dog. But in the spot, considering everything, it's good enough for me to take it. Again, I might be wrong, but I might be right. I'm going to take them. Florida International plus 12.5 minus 110, and that is the current line at the Greek. Florida International covered against Middle Tennessee. Did you look at that one, Jim?
I didn't have a chance. No.
Okay, hit us with one of yours, Jim.
I will happily. I'm pretty excited about this spot. I'm taking Texas Arlington on the first half line. They look very bad in their last two road games. They're back at home, and I expect them to bounce back. I expect them to bounce back early. Yeah. Troy has looked much better with second leading scorer, 6'6" senior Jordan Varnado back in the lineup. Without him, Wesley Person was the only one that could be counted on to score. But I think this is a great early bounce back spot for UT Arlington. They looked very bad on the road, and I didn't expect them to do that. And now they're back in the cozy confines of home, and I think they're going to jump on Troy early. I like them on the first half.
All right, the first half is 4, and Bookmaker has minus 105. I agree with you, Jim. That was one of my picks. I bet that one, and I will double up on this one. I'm going to take them first half minus 4, minus 105, and I will also take them on the full game, which is minus 7.5 still. And let me just find the best line here. 7.5 minus 110. Pinnacle has minus 110. Everyone has 110. All right, so I'm going to double up on that one with you. UT Arlington first half minus 4 and the full game minus 7.5 minus 110. Again, one or both of those could lose, but I feel like, again, they're percentage plays, right? Yeah. Sometimes you have big percentage plays in college basketball, but most of the time you're looking at 54, 55, sometimes 57% plays. Even the 57, 58% plays are going to lose 40%, 32% of the time, right? Yeah. So and you just have to be like, you can't be worried about what could happen. You have to be worried about what's most likely to happen. All right, so Jimmy the Bag. So you just hit with that one. Now let me hit with one of the plays that another one that I was going to give. Let's see. Let's scan this card. What else was I going to do? What else was I thinking about? Looking at these sides here. Well, yeah, a lot of interesting stuff. I was thinking the same way about Florida Atlantic at home against UAB as a big home underdog there. I was thinking about, let me just scan these games and see what I actually bet. What I was thinking about, I was thinking about Oral Roberts as a home dog to IPFW. I was definitely thinking about Murray State to get another blowout win at home against Southeastern Missouri State. Murray State has absolutely been rolling teams. I was thinking about what else was I thinking about here? I was thinking about scanning. Can't even remember what I bet. I was thinking about Samford as a home dog against Eastern Tennessee State. Eastern Tennessee State, a great team, of course, but I'm just not quite convinced that Samford should be that big of a home underdog here. I was thinking about Furman absolutely rolling Citadel, taking them -20, and there were a bunch of totals that I liked. I'm going to go over to the totals page. Why don't you hit us with a play, Jim, before I start to get into the totals that I liked?
Well, I will tell you. Well, there's so many games. Let me go over the one that was the most exciting thing for me this afternoon. I knew that Max was on Southern Miss, and I started studying the game, and I couldn't help but think that this was a good spot for UTEP. Southern Miss has a great guard in Tyree Griffin. Excellent guard, great distributor, and not enough of these teams, these college teams, have proper distribution. But UTEP just got back. In the last two games, they've got back 7'1", 240-pound senior Matt Wilms and 6'6" freshman Trey Wade. Now they've lost leading scorer Keith Frazier. But adding those two minus Frazier is a big plus, and we've seen it over the last couple games. They've been playing much better. Now, they blew out Rice, and Rice is a bad team. So maybe we shouldn't take too much stock in that. But Max's idea was that he couldn't take a team that has this much size and has had a size advantage often during the year that still gets out-rebounded by 7 a game and only hits 29% of their threes and is on the road. I had it queued up to send in, and then I didn't send it in, and I'm going to spend some more time on this game. But I like the advantages, the size advantages that UTEP has all throughout the lineup, but I've left it off.
Okay, all right. All right. So I'm looking at this. I think there's one play that I'm liking enough to give, and that's going to be the under in Charlotte, North Texas. I took it at 144. Let's see where that line. Yeah, well, it's 144.5 at some places, but I think I'm liking it enough that I will take it. The North Texas game under 144.5 minus 108. Again, just a pick that I might be wrong, but I think I have an okay edge on. Under 144.5 minus 108. That is the current line at Pinnacle. Anything else you want to hit us with, Jimmy the Bag?
Yeah, well, let's start talking about some of these giant games as well. So I'll just, I'm not going to necessarily have picks on them, but we'll just go back and forth in that way. The Maryland at Michigan State game is extremely exciting. My lean at the end of it was Maryland. My lean was also the under.
Yes, me too. Both ways.
Both?
I was agreeing with both those as leans, yes.
Michigan State has won 13 straight by double digits. They lead the nation in field goal percentage defense at 32.8. Maryland has handled the losing projected first-round pick Justin Jackson, Canadian boy, and junior forward Ivan Jackson for the season. Man, would these two guys be useful in this game this evening. The Terrapins are playing on short rest after beating Penn State at home on Tuesday, and I don't hate that. I don't hate that because they can stay focused on the project at hand. They committed just 5 turnovers in that game. Sophomore point guard Anthony Cowan is doing a great job controlling the pace. He's the reason why I think this game can go under. Michigan State just has so much length. They're a very difficult team, but as that spread skyrocket, I mean, it's at 15 now. And the under is a play I think I should make. Sean Thompson says, I'm on Maryland. Robbie says that Michigan State should cover, but I am staying away. I think I should make a play on the under.
Yeah, and I was thinking about the first half under at 67. It's my under pick when I picked it. It was the second tier play, not a top tier play, but it was definitely the way I was leaning. And I'm not quite going to give it, although I think that again, that's just the way I was leaning. And I didn't actually bet it. It was just a second tier play for me. Do you want to make a decision? Do you want to think about it, Jim?
Yeah, it's not a 7:00 start, which means I'll have time to send it in. So I'm going to take the full game under in Maryland, Michigan State.
Okay, Michigan State under. Let's give you the best line here. 140. You wager 142. We'll give you under 142 minus 110 at you wager. The line does appear to be headed a bit up, which is not necessarily the worst thing in the world. The you wager right now has the best line at 142. Again, line shopping here at SBR Odds. If you wanted to take the over, you could get 140 and a half at the Greek. What's so funny?
Jacoby Jones says, my grandma is beside me watching the show, and she just said, who's the handsome man with the stash?
Oh, I mean, yes, no, I mean, his grandma, right? No, I'm not ageist.
No.
And especially, see, this is what, remember we were talking about like age before in Costa Rica? I said that because I'll just very quickly explain that because I later on realized there was one time I had this friend, she had a kid when she was like 17 or 18, then she had a kid, and that kid had a scene was 17 or 18. She looked like she was 10 years younger than she was, so she was like in her she looked like she was in her late 20s talking about her grandkids. Blew my mind when I first came down here. But anyway, so go on, yeah. I'm down for grandmas, I am. All right, let's move on.
I respect that very much.
Tomorrow.
Brandon Cummings says the under is 5-1 in the last 6 when Maryland plays on the road versus Michigan. Ace King says, I'm on the Michigan State under. Luke Charleston says, Michigan State can go for 100, Jim. I'd stay off of it. Somebody else mentioned that Michigan State, aspire to elate, says Michigan State could really score. Yeah, I'm okay with it. I'm not going to take both my leans, which are Maryland and Michigan State. I like the under the best. Ace King says Maryland lineup is beat up and won't try to push the pace. I like it. I'm gonna go with the under. I've got time to set it in.
All right, under 142 is the best line right now at you wager. All right, let me just scan some of the other plays that I made. I did take a shot with the under in UTSA Louisiana Tech. I got it at 155. That is headed down a little bit. Obviously, those games at UTSA can be very high scoring, but I was thinking that total is just a little bit high, and I did take a shot with it. Yeah, it's still right where it was, 155, 154 and a half. I'd be thinking maybe about a play on the first half under on that one. I'm not. Yeah, no jokes. I'm sorry about that.
I'm sorry, my fault.
No, that's okay. I shouldn't have taken that detour with jokes. We'll do that tomorrow. Too many games here. I also took a shot with the under 148 in the Youngstown State-Milwaukee game. I know Youngstown State often plays no defense and a high tempo, but they might. I was thinking this might be a little bit of a slower paced game, and you know what? I will take that one. I'll take the Youngstown State under as well. Youngstown State under, and the best line right now, 148 minus 110. Yeah, just 148 minus 110. I will throw that one on there as well. I was thinking about the under 155 in Louisiana Tech, UTSA, and I will throw that one on there as well. What the hell? Louisiana Tech under 155 minus 108. Let me just make sure that's the best line that I could get right now. Yes, under 155 minus 108. That's the line at Pinnacle. Then let's talk quickly about the Houston-Wichita State game. I did bet the first half over there. Obviously, Houston can hit from three when they get hot. Wichita State can score as well. And I took the first half over, and I think I will give that one as a pick. Jimmy the Bag, first let me hear what you have to say about it.
Houston's won 4 in a row, but 6'8", 250-pound junior Breon Brady sprained his ankle in their 3-point win over Temple on Saturday night. He is questionable. He's had enough time, I think, to play, but even when he does play, the coach was talking about how he gets winded very easily. He just went off for 21 points and 9 boards in that game, but only could play 18 minutes. They will really need him on the boards. I don't know if any of you guys have the information at hand right now, whether Brady will be in the lineup, but if he's not in the lineup, they are in deep trouble. This Shocker team is 4th in the nation in rebound margin. They've out-rebounded opponents by an average of 11.6 per game. Darrell Willis Jr. will have all the boards to himself if Brady can't go. Now, senior guard Rob Gray's been extremely impressive for the Cougars in scoring at 19 points per game. So even if Brady wasn't in the lineup, I wouldn't think that would necessarily lean to less points. I just think that would lean to Houston and maybe having to speed up the pace and having to shoot, play on the perimeter and take more threes and things like that. But Brady is a big story in whether or not he's going to go.
All right, I'm taking the first half over. Best line right now is 71 minus 108 at BetOnline. I mean, I bet that one, so I'll make that one an official pick as well. Jimmy the Bag, what else are you thinking about here?
Well, Cincinnati Temple game, you guys have been talking about it. There's been a lot of disagreement sort of on the forum. Very interesting game. Clearly, Cincinnati's been cruising, won 5 straight by an average of 24 points per game. But Temple is a very tough place to play. And the Owls are on a 3-game losing streak. They're angry. 6'6" junior Jacob Evans leads the Bearcats in scoring and can cause a lot of matchup problems. He's a good player, and he knows intimately how tough it is to play at Temple. He was held to 4 for 11 shooting there last year. 6'8" senior Gary Clark, who averaged 12.5 points and 8.7 boards, was held to 4 for 10 shooting there last year. I came close to taking Temple, and I'll tell you why I couldn't pull the trigger, and it's Echenioni. This guy, I just never know when he's going to impose his will. I never know when he's going to step up. It's almost like a Boogie Cousins situation. He could easily impose his will on this smallish, although they've got some length, this smallish Bearcat front court, but you just never know what you're going to get against him. Against Georgia 3 games ago, he puts up 27 points and 6 boards, and then versus Tulane and Houston, he goes 4 for 22 combined for 11 points. It's so much that I can't trust my leans with Temple. But Quentin Rose and Shiz Alston are going to have to put up a ton of points if they're going to run with Cincinnati. It's a very interesting game.
All right, let me see some other plays that I did not get a chance to get to that one. It's a 9 o'clock game. Once again, I only got up to the games up to 9 o'clock. So anything after from the 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock games that I'm liking, I will tweet it out, and those will go on my official record for sure. What else was I thinking about? Yeah, I was thinking about adding on Florida Atlantic. I was thinking Wofford is a pretty impressive team. Of course, Wofford beat North Carolina. Now they're minus 15 against VMI, and I was thinking about a shot with the over on that one. I was thinking about, what else was I thinking about? Let me see here. I was thinking about maybe an under in the Arkansas State game. I was thinking about just scanning over here, scanning. I guess that's some other things I was thinking about, but I guess that's about it. And in the UTEP game, I was actually thinking about, again, the over with the very low total. That reminds me of the Duquesne George Washington over, exact same line, which I had to eat a loser on yesterday. But what do you think about scoring in the UTEP game? I know you looked at that game, Jim.
I don't think there's going to be a ton.
Doesn't have to be a ton to get to 130, though.
You're absolutely right. There doesn't have to be a ton. And I think that UTEP is a team that will slow the game down. Without what's his name, Keith Frazier, they're going to have to play a different style, and that will be slowing the pace down and bringing it down low to Matt Wilms. I really think they're going to take advantage of Matt Wilms. He's so much bigger than anybody else on the court. And that 130 is not too hard to get to. It's an interesting play. And Southern Miss that's another tough place to play.
Yeah.
And Tyree Griffin is a great point guard. So they're going to be speeding everything up. So I can see that play.
I'm also decided I'm going to double up on the Wisconsin-Green Bay game. I am taking the first half, Wisconsin-Green Bay, first half, +1, minus 110. That is a line at, Heritage and Bet Online. I know that's a market line. Plus a half, +1, minus 110. That is Wisconsin-Green Bay, first half, +1, minus 110. I decided to double up on that one. Yeah, all right. So anything else that you looked at, Jim, that you want to discuss? Any other picks you're thinking about? Any comments that are coming in? Because I'm scanning the lines. I'm not looking at the comments right now. Any comments about possible betting value? Anyone agreeing with us, disagreeing with us, telling me I made a shitty pick? Anything like that, Jim?
No, they're sort of talking about they're moving kind of on to other things. Although I've heard enough about Youngstown, and I am going to jump on it with you guys. It just makes sense. I'm not gonna take the money line, although I find it very exciting. Dexter Rojas is on the money line. Max Smart's on the money line. I find that extremely exciting. You know me, I love that shit.
Yeah, they're on the money lines.
Yes, as well. They're doing both.
No,
but
wow.
I'm just gonna take Youngstown State as the plus.
Okay, the line does appear to be headed down, but Heritage does still have 7.5 minus 110, so we can give you the Heritage line there, plus 7.5 minus 110. I am on that one myself, as well as the under. Let's see.
Sal Negro's asking about Missouri State. And I know a couple people on Missouri State tonight, and I'm going to hammer. That'll be the first game that I'll hammer as soon as this show is over. I wouldn't mind touching, if you don't mind, touching on the Gonzaga game.
Yeah,
There's been a lot of talk thinking that this is a pretty juicy spot. The Bulldogs just beat Santa Clara by 49 points. Now, Santa Clara is terrible. Their RPI 347th. They now play at Pepperdine, who's RPI 324th. The Waves are 326th in defense, 327th in three-point shooting. Leading scorer and rebounder Cameron Edwards is missed the last 5 games with a concussion. He's unlikely to be there. So it is a spot that I looked at, but it is at Pepperdine. They did have a road trip where they came together, supposedly. I haven't made a decision where I'm going to make a move on that. But before I move forward, Drew Martin comes in and says Youngstown State and the points. Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is a spot where it's, sometimes it can be a bad sign when everyone's on the same side. I mean, no one has said that. Well, there's a few people who have said that Youngstown State. No one's actually said they're on the other side. They've just said Youngstown State is shitty.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one's ever said I'm on the other side. Good luck to you guys. They've all said I watched them play and they suck.
I don't know if Rich Myers is joking, but he says Pepperdine plus 2,500. Book it. I like it, 25-1.
Yeah, it does sometimes happen. All right,
these are the plays that Max is on. He just put them out on the forum right now. He's on Texas State minus 4.5, Texas State under 129.5. He's on Southern Miss, and that was the big talk we had about UTEP Southern. He's on Idaho minus 13.5 and UCSB minus 3.5.
Okay, so those are all games that are later on that I did not get a chance to look at in depth enough to give a pick on yet. I guess I've given most of my top plays here so far. A bunch of other leans that I was thinking about. The Georgia Southern Arkansas State game is very interesting. I definitely have leans to Arkansas State plus the points and the under in that one. Arkansas State, again, one of those teams that played Wichita State really tight, And Georgia Southern, they were the team that we faded. They were the team that we faded when who were they playing? George Mason, right? They were the team that blew out George Mason.
Yeah.
But George Mason has since also stunk up the joint in other ways in subsequent games. So I was thinking that Arkansas State catching 11 points. It's down from 12.5. Catching 11 might be worth a shot. Someone's commenting on that?
Not on that, but there's two things I do want to comment on. Dale also just gave a great fact about the Gonzaga thing. Said Santa Clara beat Pepperdine by 7. Gonzaga beat Santa Clara by 49. Spread is only 22.5. Now, this is a game in Pepperdine, but I hear that's a very interesting spot. Now, I know a lot of guys on Austin P. I think that's a very interesting spot. I'm going to so that's another game that I will. So the Missouri State and Austin P. I'm gonna hammer those games as soon as this show's over and make plays on them.
But if you make picks on them, do you want them to count on your official record?
I will, and I will let you know.
Yes. Just tweet them out, or just tweet them out.
Okay.
Put the line and everything. All right. So I guess we can move on right now. So far, the picks that we all gave. I tweeted out nothing today, but I've given all my picks in this show. Jimmy the Bag on Wisconsin Green Bay money line plus 115, Utah money line plus 155, UT Arlington first half minus 4 minus 105, Michigan State under 142, and Youngstown State plus 7.5. The picks that I've given: Wichita State first half over 71, Youngstown State plus 7.5, Wisconsin Green Bay plus 2, and the first half on that one plus 1 minus 110, Colorado plus 9.5, the Colorado game under 160, Louisiana Tech under 155, North Texas game under 144.5, Florida International plus 12.5, the Youngstown State game under 148, and UT Arlington doubling up on it. First half minus 4 and the full game minus 7.5. And that's it. Those are all my plays that I've given out officially in this show. I guess we could talk about it a little bit more, but we should get moving.
I have to. I'm not going to get a chance to hammer Austin P. I think they're in a good spot. I would much rather be able to study this, and I'm going to take Austin P here on the spread, and I'm going to need about a minute to send it in.
All right, the best line right now still at Heritage -6 minus 110. Everywhere else has 6.5, but Jim's going to take a -6 minus 110. That one does make me a little bit nervous, Jim, just because again, you might have done research. Did you do research on that game that makes you like it?
Not enough, but yeah. I mean, I just think they're in a good spot. I think that Tennessee Martin could actually get blown out in this situation.
They could.
So before I haven't had a chance to break down the whole game, and I was planning on doing it, but just from understanding these two teams, I thought this was a spot where P could win by double digits, and I'm not going to let this go. Especially, there's a couple people that I know are also on it, so it just makes sense to me. I'm going to take it at -6.
All right, I guess I could give like 10 or 12 other leans, and if they lose, I'll whine and complain and be mad at myself. So I'll just hold on to what I've given so far, and let's move on. If we have a little bit of time at the end, we can come back and look at some of the line moves. Shall we move on, Jimmy the Bag?
Yeah, let's move on.
All right, let's move on to quickly to the NBA. Just 2 games, and once again, Jimmy the Bag and I did take the under in the Golden State Houston game, and that line did go down to 227.5, but now it's on its way back up. It's now up to 229 at Bookmaker. Still, we got a good line at 230.5. Pinnacle still holding 228.5. You still feel good about the under on that one, Jim?
I do. I mean, Kevin Durant's out of the lineup, and that's a tricky spot because I do like his length on defense. I do like it a lot. But in saying all that, I guess if we're taking an under, we'd rather have Durant out of the lineup. That's why the line went the way it did. So I think it's a great spot. I mean, and I got it at plus 100, which is also another nice spot.
I took that one as well, and Jim also took OKC minus 1.5, and that is right where it was in the morning. And you also took the over on that game at 213.5. 213.5 still available, although a lot of places have now moved up to 214 or 214.5, so that's nice. Pinnacle's still hanging at 213.5, though, Jim. You feel okay about those?
You know what? I know a couple cappers that messaged me saying that they were on the Thunder too, and were we getting too aggressive after watching them destroy the Lakers and watching them come together and spend an extra night in LA, and then a couple guys I followed then later in the day put out that they were taking the Clippers, which is a little uncomforting. But I'm going to stick to the capping that I did this morning. I really think that the Clippers are maybe an 8 or 9 seed. They just can't be more than that. They're with this next man up mentality. They're using these undrafted players like C.J. Williams. They're putting them in bigger spots. I think that Paul George is really starting to mesh with Westbrook, and we've got the ball out of Carmelo's hands. Those were the important things for the Thunder to move forward, and I'm comfortable with this spot.
Brendan Cummings says the under is 5-1 last 6 when Houston plays at home against Golden State. Brendan Cummings also says the under is 6-1 last 7 when the Thunder play on the road against the Clippers. Very interesting. I think that the Houston trend there is probably more relevant to this game. So I'm on the under with Jim there. I'm off the Clippers game totally, and Jim likes the Clippers. Jim likes OKC and the over on that one. And Espiritoliate says I'm all about the Thunder tonight. They will get better each and every game going forward. Okay,
I think that too. I was, we thought it would take them 20 games to get comfortable. But remember when the Big Three went to Miami, they did not look good in their first 20 games. It took them 45 or 50 games to get the flow, and that's, I think, what's happening here.
Philip H. says Thunder. And yeah, listen, I mean, in general with handicapping, when you have a team like that with a lot of stars that's having trouble, putting it all together, and then in the middle of the season they start to put it all together, back-to-backs mean less in the beginning of when they start to put it all together. They just start to roll and roll and roll and roll. You know what I mean?
I agree. And everybody was on the bench in the fourth quarter. It's not like the Lakers make you work really hard, even though they do try to run up and down the court. Some interesting stuff here. Tomor says, where is it?
I don't think the Clippers are that good, but I think this is a good spot for them. Okay.
And he also says, I think the Lakers are garbage with Ennis at the point. OKC is much better at home, and Griffin should have a strong matchup advantage against Carmelo.
We have a question from Ayashuaya 07. Brady is out for the University of Houston. Should I play Wichita State? Ayashuaya 07. My play on that one, first half on the over 71, which I think is a pretty decent play. I'm not touching the side here, although I would definitely be leaning Wichita State minus the points. That was my lean in this game for sure.
Oh, with Brady out, I mean, I think that's got to be the play. When does that game start? Would I be at 7 o'clock? I don't have time to send these bets in.
Let's see. That line moved at all. Let me just find it. The Houston and Wichita State game. No, it's still 9.5 or 10. 9.5 or 10. They're actually 9.5s available now. Actually, seems like it's headed a little bit in Houston's favor.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would that be?
Sharp money. People thinking they're slick. Could be anything. Doesn't take a ton of money to move college basketball, even the spreads, Doesn't take a ton of money. You got a couple big whales in Vegas who get together and think they have an edge on a side and they pound it. That's going to move the line.
I've left Wichita State alone. They've been a very tricky play this year. It seems like Marshall decides when he's going to take over the game, and often it's not till very late.
So there's your answer, Ayashuaya 07. I did not bet this one, and I did not bet the side. I did bet the first half over 71. I like that one. And if you gave me a free play on the side, I would definitely be taking Wichita State minus the points.
I think, that's an important note, and I want to add Wichita State. They will win.
You do?
I believe that they will win by double digits tonight.
Okay. Yeah, that's the way I would lean as well. The Greek has 9.5. Intertops has 9.5. Thank you for Intertops for offering us the best line on Wichita State. Jimmy the Bag's going to add Wichita State minus 9.5, minus 110. And I would agree with that, Jimmy the Bag.
We're talking about the fourth best rebounding team in the nation, and then Houston loses their key and best rebounder. I think this is a pretty nice situation.
I think you're right, Jimmy. I'm not going to go on it right now, but I think you're right. I was a second away from going on that one with you, but I'll just stick with the first half over. Wichita State -9.5, -110 is a play that Jimmy the Bag has added. All right, shall we move on to NHL?
Yes.
All right, let's move on to NHL. Once again, Jimmy the Bag and I, let's just review the picks that we gave. I gave in the morning Pittsburgh -1 and the Carolina-Pittsburgh over first period and 5.5. I also gave Buffalo -1 at +422. I believe that line would be even bigger right now because the line keeps going in Minnesota's favor, which I would have expected. I also gave Vegas St. Louis first period under 1.5. Apparently, what's that guy's? I can't remember the fucking guy's name. The hockey guy in the morning who liked the over on that one.
Lane.
Right. Dana Lane supposedly really liked the over in that one. I assume that meant full game. I took the first period under -101, and I also took the first period under in the LA Calgary game. Jimmy the Bag took Buffalo on the money line. He got +193. Anaheim on the money line. A lot of strong opinions saying fade Edmonton in perpetuity until further notice, until the value dries up. Jim's doing that tonight with Anaheim on the money line. Jim also took Tampa Bay on the puck line, +178, and the under in that game, 5.5 -107. He did wind up going with New Jersey on the money line, +155. He took the Carolina-Pittsburgh over with me, 5.5 -110. The San Jose-Toronto game, over 5.5 -105. And the Columbus-Colorado game, under 6 -120. And that line, I believe, is long gone. That line has definitely gone down. So let's check, just scan over some of these line moves. Yeah, there you go. Philly. I was thinking about giving Philly at -125. That line is now up to -140. Wow. The Pittsburgh line is about where it was. Let me see. Yeah, and now Buffalo is an even bigger underdog than they were in the morning. If you had taken Buffalo right now, we could have given +205 at Bet365. Wow. But that's okay. I took a -1, +422. If I had taken them now, probably be 440 or something like that. Vegas, we'll see how they do against St. Louis. New Jersey, that line has gone down just a little bit. You got it at 155. The best line right now will be +150 at the Greek. The Anaheim-Edmonton line actually has moved very slightly in Edmonton's favor, which is kind of interesting. The Nashville-Arizona line has gone down, interestingly. Arizona taking some money as a home underdog. That's worthy of note. And then let me just scan the totals. The Carolina-Pittsburgh game total has not moved at all. In fact, it's we could have gotten -107 at Pinnacle if we wanted it now. Let's see. The Colorado-Columbus game is now, yes, solidly at 5.5 market wide, except for a few places that are still hanging. The Greek has 6 -130. Let's see. The Tampa Bay Montreal game has not made a big move down to the under. It's now -5.5 -115. But the Dallas New Jersey game has gone down a little bit, and the Buffalo Minnesota game has really crashed. And I was thinking about maybe a shot with the over there. I was thinking we might see some unexpected scoring from Buffalo here. The over on that one is now 5.5 +120. Would be the best line.
Those. I love those.
Yeah. Then I was thinking this might be a good spot to try for a shot with one of those. That line has taken a big move to the under. The LA Calgary game, -130, -140. I took the first period under on that one. And the Vegas St. Louis game has actually taken a little bit of a dip to the under, which is understandable because St. Louis has been such a strong under trender for an extended period, well, on the entire year, but especially recently for an extended period of time. What do you have to say about any of these line moves? Anything you want to add, Jim? What do you think?
Well, I still think that the play I'm enjoying the most is the same play I like the most in the morning is the Hurricanes-Penguins over 5.5. That is the play that I'm most comfortable with when I look down at everything. Mm-hmm. I really think the Lightning are just a much better team than Montreal, and I get concerned sometimes when the Lightning play in markets like Carolina or markets that aren't very exciting. You know that this team likes to play in Montreal. Mm-hmm. Who doesn't want to play in that city? Who doesn't like hearing the Boo Birds, the French Boo Birds come out? So I think the Lightning, I know it's, as we talked about in the morning show, it's anti-correlated, taking the under and a -1.5, but I'm pretty comfortable in this situation. Looking at these moves, I guess I'm not extremely confident in either Buffalo or New Jersey, but I think taking them both puts me in a nice situation, and that's why I did that. I know a lot of people that are in love with the Islanders Philly over 6, and it's something that I've decided to stay away from, but I get it, and Grice is a bum.
Mohammed Joma says, take Lightning, in parentheses, I'm a Habs fan, and the Ducks money line. Jim has already done both of those. Let's see.
And that's a lot when he says fade Montreal, because remember, he's Brendan Gallagher's
Absolutely. All right, so I'm scanning some comments. It's definitely an interest. There's a lot of, Brendan Cummings says Sabres are 6-1 ATS puck line, last 7 on the road. Look, it's just the line is too big. I'm happy with the play. If it loses, it loses. But at that line, it's just too big. If you make the lines big enough, I'm going to bite eventually, right?
I agree. All
right, let's see. Although I knew it was going to get bet up. That's why on my personal accounts, I didn't even bet it on the overnight line because I was like, this line is just going to go up and up and up, and it did. All right, let's see. I'm
not as confident as I'd like to be on the Ducks Oilers. I can understand that if you thought in the beginning of the year that you could get the Oilers at a basic, but how much did the line change now with the Oilers at home?
The Oilers at home, how much did the line change? Oh, just a very little. Well, you got it at 107. It's now up to 111 at a bunch of places. So
I can understand. I can understand Sharps coming in and putting money on the Oilers at this spot. I get it. I kind of like people putting money on the Coyotes against the Predators without Philip Forsberg. The Predators look like they're in these doldrums for some reason. They've lost 5 of 7. The Coyotes are getting Halmerson back, which is going to help a lot on the back end. But it's very difficult to believe in this Arizona team. But you're getting a plus 140. 137 on most books, up to 142 bet online.
It's headed down, that's for sure. Let's see it. Earlier this morning, I'm picking up at SBR Odds. Of course, you just click on the square and you will get the line history for that game, for that book. So I just clicked on the Pinnacle line history for Nashville against Arizona at SBR Odds, and I can see that it opened yesterday at plus 158. Then took a move to 145 in the morning, then went down to 134, and now a little bit bump up to 137. So, yeah.
I got the Jackets at Avalanche at a sweet, sweet spot in the morning that I couldn't replicate at any other time during the day, and now it's very difficult to even get them at a 6.
My question for you, Jim, one final time. Philly and the Islanders. I was leaning Philly on this one, leaning Philly -1. What do you think? You don't really trust Philly, but the Islanders, the goaltending's bad. They haven't been scoring recently. They're on the road. It just feels like Philly would be the play here, no?
Well, remember, the key was that Calvin Hahn and Johnny Boychuk were out of the lineup. Now, I believe Boychuk will be back, but it's not easy to come back and play top 4 minutes. So, yes, when any team doesn't have their top defenseman or 2 of their top defensemen, they are susceptible. And this is a clear situation where, yes, I agree. You know what? I think the Flyers are the play as well. When's that game start?
All right. Yeah, that was my lean. I'll throw that one on there as well. The Philadelphia Flyers -1. The money line part of that will be -138 at BetOnline. And the puck line part of that will be, let me just find it, plus 205. 210 at UWager, plus 210 at UWager. So -138, plus 210, and I'll just put that into my little -1 calculator here and tell you exactly what that line would be. Making my own. I mean, I already bet this one, so and I think I got a better line than what this would be right now. But that puts it at plus 130. So I got Philly -1 at plus 130. They win by 1, I push. If they win by more than 1, I win 1.3 units, and if they lose, I lose 1 unit. That was a lean. That was in my leans category, and I will throw that one on there as well. Other leans in my leans category, New Jersey -1 at plus 315, but I'm going to stay off of that one. The Tampa Montreal full game under was a lean. The Buffalo Minnesota again game over at plus 123 or so was a lean over. And I was also thinking about the over in the New Jersey Dallas game. What do you think about that, Jim?
I think it's a pretty good spot, except I like Schneider after getting a break. So if I was going to do anything, if you like the over, I would say the Devils score goals on Bishop. Now, Rem Most has an interesting point here. Sorry, I had to send some bets in, so I was kind of up.
Go ahead.
Rem Most did not like Lane's explanation he did not like it. So
that's good.
That is good.
That is good. Yeah. If you're saying someone that gave a pick that they really like and you think they're wrong, that's a good thing.
Yeah. So that's interesting. But there's lots of talk. Rich Myers thinks Blues at -120 is a steal. Then 10 Toes Down says Blues are rubbish. Vegas St. Louis is under, says Rem Most.
Well, I'm on the first period under on that one. So, I'm thinking about throwing on the New Jersey Dallas. So, can Dallas score? What do you think? What do you think, Jimmy the Bag?
Well,
they get a lot of shots on goal, right?
Yes, but their power play's been getting worse. They're a top-heavy team. I have not trusted their offense all year. Hitchcock is a defensive coach. I will not ever trust them to score.
All right. Yeah, I'm going to hold off on this one. I'm going to hold on this one for now. But I did add Philly -1. Okay, so
I need to add it. I'm with Rem. I'm happy that Rem. Thank you, Rem, for saying that, because for the life of me, St. Louis can't score, and Vegas is a tight forechecking team. Now, I said earlier that their scoring has gone down, and then I looked at the stats, and that really isn't the case. They have scored at least 3 goals in I guess 7 straight games or something. So that was my fault. And Adam Booth called me out on that. And Adam Booth is a great capper. I didn't mean to get so angry at him this morning. In saying all that, I think the under is the play with the Golden Knights at St. Louis Blues. Carter Hutton's playing very well, and I'm going to go against Dana Lane on this. And I'm going to go with my man, Rem.
All right, taking the full game under.
Full game
All right,
under.
let's do some line shopping here at SBRodds.com. -115 is the best line right now at betonlinesportsbetting.ag. 5 Dimes also has that. Pinnacle has -117. Most other places have -120. So we're going to give Jimmy the Bag Vegas, St. Louis under 5.5, -115. And I'm on the first period under on that one, -101.
Okay, I feel comfortable. I'm happy. Thank you, Rem. I wanted to take that play, and I should have probably watched his explanation, and I didn't.
Right.
Although,
Dana Lane, I used to do videos with him, and he's a guy who, in general, I do respect.
Oh, for
sure.
sure.
Always respect his analysis.
For sure.
Which doesn't mean that he's right on every analysis that he does, which is a group that I am as well very much a part of.
Oh, wow. McCara has just got a great point for you with the Flyers. Says Johnny Boychuk's involvement in Wednesday's practice didn't go as hoped. Boychuk is expected to miss both Thursday and Friday's games. Without those 2 defensemen, I'm going to go with the Flyers. They have to come back from that 5-1 loss to Pittsburgh. That was inexcusable and embarrassing, and I like it. I'm going to take the Flyers, and I'm not going to take them on a -130, -140. I feel like that's too risky. I would rather only lose one unit in total. So I'm going to take the Flyers on the puck line.
All right, that's +210 right now at UWager. Who was the guy who gave that comment? Let's give that guy a specific shout out.
Absolutely.
Where is that guy?
Where
is
was
that?
he?
Oh, Markera.
Markera.
I've never even seen that guy's poster name before. But Markera, here's the comment: Johnny Boychuk's lower body involvement in Wednesday practice didn't go as hoped. Boychuk is expected to miss most Thursdays and Friday's game from Roto World. Thank you for coming on and reminding us of that, Markera.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it. I was on them anyway, but now you put Jim on it. Now I feel better. I mean, I was on it.
Anytime a team doesn't have 2 of their top 4 defensemen, bet against them.
Yes. All right. James Vegas says Fleury, another shutout tonight for Vegas. Yeah. All right. We'll see. Let's see. What else do we have here? What else do we have going on here? Mohammed Joma says Leafs winning at home tonight. Okay. Let's see. And that was, you took the over on that one, right?
I did, and I feel pretty good about it. I don't know what the line move did there, but I think that, I made a mistake early in the year not hammering the overs with the Leafs. And now I think I'm finding I'm a little bit. I could be wrong, obviously, but I think I might be a tiny bit ahead of the market, thinking that the Leafs are going to start scoring again.
Yeah, I was on overs in the beginning of the year as well, and then I actually turned a corner and started to take unders with them. That's why when this line opened at 6, and I actually took the under at 6.
I get it,
but it's now down to 5.5, and it's right about where you took it. It's now you actually got it at -105, and it's taken a 5-cent move up since then. So nice job there, Jimmy the Bag. Let's see. Brandon Cummings says Flyers are 18-7, last 25 straight up at home against the Islanders.
Oh,
yeah,
shit! I got 2 minutes to send that bet.
All right, go send it in, and I will look for some comments that right now I'm going to ignore. I'm going to ignore funny comments or even complimentary comments. I'm just going to look for handicapping info comments. Let's see. Udumporn Ratanafakti says I took the over on the Blues, Pete. Okay, all right. I'm on the first half under. Let's see. Jin Rummy says Flyers are crushing Isles at home over the last bunch of years. Yes, I'm liking that one. James Vegas, Flyers big tonight, big bounce back. I like that one.
How important is line shopping? I have to take the plus or -1.5 at +190, and when you line shop, you get a +210. It's embarrassing that I still have to do this.
Yep, at UWager right now, +210, Pinnacle 196, Bookmaker has +205, the Greek has +200, and that's and Bet365 has a +190. Line shopping absolutely matters. Okay, let's see. Brendan Cummings Cummings, the under in Blues games last 12 is 11-1. Yeah, he posted another under trend for the Blues before, and I was about to say the under is whatever in the Blues last whatever game. They've been a dead under trender this whole year in any way you look at it. All right, let's see. Sal Nigro says, so no 48-game parlay tonight in NCAA basketball tonight in Loshak. No, that's those big college basketball parlays are things that I might consider doing in February or in early March. But at this point in the season, I'm definitely not making parlays. I'm making 8 or 10 plays and hoping to win 5 or 6 of them, and very happy if I do. All right, let's look at some other. Looking at some comments here. Shooter 214 says 60% on Wisconsin Milwaukee. That blows me away. Not 60% of the viewers of these videos. My God, the viewers of these videos, for people who are on that game, it's 100% on Youngstown State. That includes you, me, Drew Martin, everyone. Shooter 214 says 60% on Wisconsin Milwaukee. Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. Paulo Marquez says Minnesota will beat Sabres, guys. Yeah. I mean, but that's the point. Is just if the line gets high enough, you got to take a shot.
That's why we're getting 2-1.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see how it turns out. Lee Davis, I think Philly is solid tonight. Pete, okay, you ready? You ready?
Yeah, I'm good.
All right. Anything else you want to come back and comment on, Jimmy?
No. But I thank you guys for your help to adding, because some of the leans I couldn't move forward on, and I feel comfortable here now. I'm happy that I added those 2 picks. This is an interesting hockey card. A lot of times with the hockey cards, big ones, I don't see as much value and opportunities I'm looking at right now. So this is pretty exciting.
Lee Davis says, Pete, you need to read Native Queen's comment from the earlier show. What comment was that? I don't know what he's talking about. Was it a first quarter NBA comment? Because if that's what it was, I want to know what it was.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Can you?
What comment? Lee Davis, Pete, you need to read Native Queen's comment from the earlier show. What comment was that? I hope it wasn't a first quarter play in the NBA that I missed, because I would definitely want to know what the hell. Any Native Queen comment on a first quarter play in the NBA, I definitely want to know what it is.
I'm very interested in your play on Colorado at home against Arizona State. In the end, I'm just going to study it a little bit more because it doesn't start at 7, but I think it's a very exciting play. And I'm already taking a play that got destroyed by the forum with my Utah Utes on the money line. Got absolutely destroyed. Remo says she wanted to have your baby.
Really? Yeah, but women are always saying that. Then when it comes down to it, they're like, I don't know. You think so? I'll have her babies. I don't have any kids yet. I'll have a couple of little Loshaks running around.
We need more Loshaks in this world.
The geniuses like Mozart and Spike Lee and all those people in life, they're always the people who had like dads who like trained them from when they were 3 years old to be a genius. And if I had kids, that's what I would do. I would train them from when they were 2.5 years old to be genius handicappers. And then they would be born to do it. They'd be trained from when they were 2.5. And then by the time they were 18, people would be like, who is this 18-year-old phenom handicapper? And they'd be like, yeah.
My dad raised me at the horse track. And the one thing that I'm not getting down here is I'm not getting to play the horses. And it really feels like I'm missing something in my life.
I'd be hard on my kid. My kid would come to me and say, Dad, I went 5-4 yesterday. I would be like, that's shameful. Get back in there and handicap more. Do more research and come back here. Don't even talk to me until you're 7-2.
I like it.
Yeah, that's what I would do. I would crack the whip, and people would be like, wow, I don't know about his parenting approach, but you know what? The proof would be in the pudding, because at 18 years old, that kid would come out and own Vegas.
Respect. Man.
Yes.
Yeah, well, they'd see your house getting bigger and bigger.
That's right. Okay, yeah, Mozart and Spike Lee, I don't know why those two. Well, they came to my mind because like Spike Lee's dad wasn't he like an artist? He was like a jazz musician. And Mozart's dad, of course, when he was 3 years old, told him like, you're going to be the best piano player in the world. He had no choice.
Yeah, no, I get it.
That's what I would do with my kids. I'd be like, you're learning Excel by 7, Visual Basic by 9. You're going to learn all the fundamentals of handicapping by 10. By 15, you'll be a junior league MVP in handicapping. And by 18, you'll own Vegas.
Yes, but a lot of times when you push people into gambling so early, they become bookies, and we don't want that.
Wherever the edge is. You know what I'm saying?
But then that's where the edge is.
That's where the edge. No, but I mean, if you can combine the edge, I mean, that's what Pinnacle is basically. Pinnacle's a bookie that has a betting edge. That's why they're able to make money with such low juice. There you go.
No, that's
what it would be.
That's
and my kid would be like would out Pinnacle. at 18 years old. All right, let's
Mr. Gogster says, "Oh, I wish you were my dad."
Yeah, I would teach. Yeah, but that's the thing is that you have to. Their brains can only absorb that. You can only become a genius handicapper from birth when you're a kid, when your brain is a sponge. By the time you're 21, it's all over. If you're not a genius handicapper by then, forget about it.
Well, don't tell us that.
No, that's not true. That's not true. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You still have a chance, guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
We still believe in you. Genius
right.
handicapping can still come.
So let's wrap the show up and let's review all the plays that we've given out. Jim has added on Wichita State -9.5, Wisconsin Green Bay moneyline +115, Utah moneyline +155, UT Arlington first half -4, Youngstown State +7.5, Austin P -6, and Michigan State under 142 -110, and in NHL. He has added Philly on the puck line +210 and the St. Louis game under 5.5 -115. And I have given Wichita State first half over 71, UT Arlington first half -4 and the full game -7.5, Youngstown State +7.5, Wisconsin Green Bay first half +1 and full game +2, Colorado +9.5, Colorado under 160, Florida International +12.5, Youngstown State under 148, North Texas under 144.5, Louisiana Tech under 155, and I added on Philly -1, and that's about it.
Oh, that's great stuff.
Funny stuff coming in here.
Yeah. Oh man, yeah, I like where we're at, man. I got more work to do too now.
All right. Thanks so much for everyone for tuning in. We'll be back tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern time, and any plays that Jim or I like from the 9 o'clock games forward, we'll tweet out, and those, of course, will go on our official records, Jim.
Yep.
All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you tomorrow at 12 o'clock.